So, you asked for it, and here it is. Welcome to the Rebel Moon deep dive. Cheers. This might take a minute, so we're just going to do, the easiest thing and start at the beginning. Thank you all for the questions that you asked on Twitter. They were fantastic, and I hope I catch them all. I did read them before again, so here we go. Right. I'm going to go everything from the beginning, how I got the gig, the process, what I did versus what I, was input. And at the very end, I'll tell you what Zack Snyder is really like. Okay, so let's get into it. I wrote Aliens Vasquez, and I loved every second of it. Writing this strong female character, Latina, I am a Latina, it was a great experience. And it's been really well received. So Titan, who publishes um, the book, who published Aliens, said, "Hey, we're looking for someone to write these novelizations of this film. Want to audition?" I'm like, let me think about it. Yes. So I got a phone call, met with Zach and his team. Next thing I know, I got it. I had to sign an NDA and I received the script. And I have to say I received it. And I was like, yep, this is me. This is me. All of the characters. Cora just hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt just as strongly about Cora as I did with, Vasquez. And all of the other ones, Tarek, Noble. I am obsessed with villains. So Noble, again, another one. I was like, yes, please. I want to write this character. But also, I write erotic romance. Um, and so the love triangle between like Gunnar and Cora, and um, it was just, I loved it. Now, let me just tell you something. A script is really different to a novel, a novella, a short story. It's bare bones because it's what you see. There's no um, subtext, there's no thoughts, there's no what are they thinking, what are they feeling. It's just what's in front of you. So it had to be filled out. I had a million ideas, right? This is just, and one of the things people wanted to asked about was Dagus. So obviously the scenes were set, the different planets, and well, except for Anora with the Anorans, who were the characters, the creatures you saw, the Hawkshaws, right? They look like orcs. I'll get into that later. But Dagus, when I had to go to write Dagus, I based that on Dubai. I had taken a trip to Dubai, and there were a lot of unfinished buildings, and there's also a lot of workers, domestic help, and just workers in general from all over the world, and they aren't exactly paid the best. Um, and so when I was detailing Dagus, I thought, well, if there was an apocalypse or something, it was like Mad Max world, what would Dubai look like with all of these high rises, with all of these workforce that's being brought in? Same thing with places like Hong Kong and Singapore, right? Um, and I wanted to show corporate greed. I wanted to show people emigrating somewhere for work and exploitation and what happens, but also colonization, because as we see, Hermata, like, she's an indigenous creature. She's this big spider, and she can't have babies, and that's where like my horror writing kicked in, where I showed like the brutality of it, and also wanted give her have empathy for her, because that was her homeworld. And then suddenly these corporations come in and they just want to build and build and build and exploit and dig. So I was really lucky. There's a party going on next door, so excuse the music, or you can like bump along. So you know, Daggis, and what I loved about building this was like Anora was all me building this homeworld. And if I would love the opportunity to write more in this universe. I would love to go into the creatures, because creatures are my jam. I love creatures, like I love xenomorphs. I'm a horror writer. I love all that, like demons, vampires, cryptids. Like that's all my jam. Um, so you know, I start fleshing it out and kind of come out with all these things I want to write, and they have to go back and say, "Hey, yeah, you can do that. No, you can't, because we have other projects." And that's fine, because when you're writing IP, it's collaborative. You can't pick and choose. You can't. It's not your baby. You know, it's collaborative, and you've got to respect the filmmaker and their vision as well. Um, but also, like a script to a novel, there's just not enough for an 80,000 word book, and this was 2 books. So I really had to push on where I could expand. Like I loved the Kali, but I couldn't. That was a no-go area, except for what I, you know, what was seen and what they would allow me to expand on. So I did have to get permission for a lot of things. Now, some of y'all freaks, but I'm one too, love Noble and the tentacle stuff. I don't know how these apps monitor, so I can't. I will be very PG with my language. Um, what I loved about writing this also is I could really go into the spice, whether it was Tarek and this older woman, and really dig into the scene, Cora showing not just the act, but what she was feeling, how her body was reacting, like getting into the details, but like get it showing like Noble get his freak on. That was fun with the twins, the tentacles. Mm-hmm. Because I write erotic horror. I write I write spice. So you can go back into my go on Amazon or whatever, and you can get my books. Um, so that was really great. As far as Noble, I his whole backstory, I had to get permission, but I wanted to go through that. I was like, yeah. So I created like him and Cassius, their backstory, and the world he went to, which was kind of like Russian gangster type society. And, you know, the reason why, so he has the tattoo before he gets stripped of his skin. Um, Basically, that was an initiation in a fight, and I wrote that. And I show his brutality and his how he became essentially a psychopath with his parents, and then he went to this kind of gangster mob world, and he just fit right in. And that was like an initiation, getting that tattoo on this mob world for doing what he did, and also kind of his introduction to being a freak. It was great. Um, so I think that gives you a lot of the questions answered in a lot of that. Um, Now, Zack Snyder, what's he really like? Some people don't like. People have like I've seen it on social media, love or hate. I'm just gonna have to feel the haters, because he's a stand-up guy. His wife's lovely. Working with him was a joy. Seeing him multiple times, he was amazing. His whole team, stand-up people. I have nothing but amazing things to say about Zack Snyder, and you know, whatever people think of him, hey, he's fucking winning. So let them talk, but he's, yeah, like, you know, when people, they're the real deal, like, he's the real deal. And his wife is fantastic. Again, they're like this power couple team, and wonderful to meet them, to work alongside them. Another one of your questions, and I would absolutely love to do more. I don't know what, obviously, the standing is, what Netflix is going to do, or so I can't say, but if they approached me tomorrow, I'd say in 30 seconds, hell yes. But also, you know, I am a Snyder fan, so if they said, hey, we wanted you know, a book for Sucker Punch, or Army of the Dead, I'd be like, Army of the Dead, yes. Sucker Punch, yes. Anything, you know. 300, I loved. I remember seeing that, and that's what I a reason I think I was able to kind of push the boundaries of the spicy scenes is because you see kind of that in his filmmaking and in the storytelling, and it was just a fantastic thing. So um, yeah, it was a collaborative. I was able to put as much as I possibly could to not interfere with their other projects. Um, but yeah, so watch this space for, let's see what happens. But that is a lot of what you guys asked for when it comes to Rebel Moon. Um, it was this beautiful evolution. You know, I got to go to London to see it in the Netflix office. I got to go to LA to see it as well and meet the team and kind of go through with the film, because without seeing it, it's really tough writing from script to novel without getting the visuals, because you just don't know, you know. Um, and then it was constantly evolving. And again, you know, you have to respect what else is going on. So, oh, they're really parting. Yeah, see, this is a good omen. Good things are coming. Right. I'm going to go now. I'm going to enjoy my drink, enjoy my hot tub, end of summer fun. And yeah, if you guys want a part two, put it in the comments, subscribe, because I'll be doing everything book related here. And also life stuff, you know, my inspirations, um, and the hot tub staying out until it gets too cold. So we'll be doing these, yeah, regularly. Sending you blessings in abundance, and go buy the books.